Hello, welcome to the week two. So in the week two, we talk about relational model. So this is a very important part for the database design. So first thing you know, what is a relational model? So relational model basically, we're trying to create multiple tables and trying to link different table with relation. So each table represents a relation in a relational database. And the table using the two-dimensional structures. Okay, they do have a row or column. Okay, so in the database we call the row is tuples and the columns attribute. Okay, this is created by EF code. Okay, so since when we're using this idea, we can you know logically represent and store the data. Okay, so this is one example of the one relation, which is a table. So you can see the first row basically represents the attribute. So they do have a different attribute like student's number, student's last name, first name, date of birth, hours, class, GPA. So those are the attribute. Each row indicates the one entity. So this is a one single entity occurrence. So this is one entity, this is another entity occurrence. So each row also we can consider this one record. Okay, so record one, record two, record three. Okay, so each column, as I said, is represents an attribute. Okay, with a distinct name. So you need to make sure each attribute has different name and can be is very identical. Okay, we will talk about the different key. So one of the most important parts for the table is primary key. So primary key is uniquely can identify each row. Okay, so that means one of the one of the attributes or multiple attributes, they combine them together, we consider is the key. And this key can help you to identify each row. Okay, and each row should be very identical and very different. Okay, so we'll talk about later. One thing is important, you need to know each the attributes they may follow the different specific format. This format could be the string, could be the single character, could be a number, could be a floating point, or you specify the different range. So each of them, they may have the specific format. However, the order of the rows and the columns is irrelevant. Okay, so it could be the first one, this row, and this row could be the last one. There's no any related problem. So what's the primary key? So primary key we consider is one column or set of the column. That means one attribute or multiple attributes. Combine them together can help you to uniquely identify each record. Okay, that means each row. Okay, so it's very important, can help you to ensure your table is uniquely and a non-norm value. So unique value, that means each entity, each column, each record, or each row, there's no you need to guarantee no duplicate entry. Okay, every row must have a value for their primary key. So this is part of the constraint. That means primary key cannot be now. Okay, and because we're trying to help you to avoid any duplicate record. Dupli- Duplicate record may the make you spend last week we talked about the duplicate number records probably will directly to lead you the errors or perform slow. This is something we don't want them to do. Okay, and when we define the primary key, it allow you to efficiently to retrieve the data, and you can easily to find out the relationships between the tables. So this is one example. In this example, if I have a few questions I need to ask you, how many records and how many attributes, what's the primary key, what's the attribute type. So it's important for you to do is you need to make sure what's the record. Record, that means beside the first row, the rest of the rows, each row is one record. Okay, so right here you just count how many rows. That means how many record. How many attributes? That means how many column. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There are 12 attributes. What's the primary key? So primary key, that means it should be unique. Okay, it could be one or multiple. So you need to read this each record. Make sure if you choose one column, you have to make sure the value of the column they are unique. So if you look at their students the number, if you read this one, okay, so make sure there's no duplicate number. If there's duplicate number, that means this is something you cannot consider as the primary key. Okay, so this one is easy. You can choose probably just using the student's number. Okay, student's number. Okay, because I didn't find out any duplicate number right here. Okay, and it more makes sense because this is a table for student. Right? So some people will ask, can I using the different thing? Yes, but from this example, probably you can use the department code, professional number, professor's number, right? Maybe not for professional professor's number. So when you look at here, you see this is 222 and 222, they're duplicate. 228 and 228, they are duplicate. That means this professor's number cannot be used as a primary key in this case. Okay, what the attributes type? Okay, so you can see here the student's number, attribute type should be number. Okay, this should be character. Student's DOB should be the date. The GPA should be floating point, and the transfer should be boolean. That means only yes or no, right? So this example can help you to understand, what the record, what's a row, what's a column, what's the attributes, how you choose the primary key, and what's the attributes types. So this is very important. We introduce keys in the relational model, okay? Because this key can help you to ensure each row in a table is unique, okay? As we said, we're using the primary key to ensure each row is unique. We also can establish the relationship between the table, which we will talk about later. There's several other keys can help you to establish the relationship, between the tables. So, so for example, one key can consist the multiple, one or more attributes which can determine other attributes. For example, if you have an invoice number, okay, which can help you determine some other details like, invoice dates or customer name. Okay, this is something we consider is a key. Okay, can determine other attributes as well. So there are many different type of the keys in a relational database. So we will talk about some of them in this video. So first is the composite key and the super key. So composite key, that means this key made up more than one attribute. That means they have two or more attributes. For example, we have a course enrollment table. That's this table could be combined the student's number and the student's course number. Okay, we can consider if you have a student's number and the course number, you can identify this each row. Okay, you can write down something like this. You can determine it in row table, in row date. So that means if you don't have only one, for example, student's number, you probably cannot determine the enrollment date. Or you only have course number, you cannot determine the enrollment date. Okay, so that means this key have to made up of two or more attributes. Okay, so super key, that means this key potentially, okay, can uniquely identify any row of the table. Okay, but they may contain some extra unnecessary attributes. For example, for the student table, as we said, student's number is enough to be as a key to identify this student. However, we have a super key such as we using the student's number and the student's last name. Okay, still can identify the students, but student's last name is unnecessary. Okay, so this one we consider they are the this we consider it is super key. Okay, candidate key, that means it's minimal super key. That means this one has no any unnecessary attribute. Okay, so such as we say student's number, okay, it's enough to tell this is this student. So we consider it as a candidate key. Okay, or we consider using the student's SSN, the social security number, can also be the candidate key. So you can tell this one and this one, they are minimal super key. Okay, there's no any other the unnecessary attribute. So primary key, that means all the candidate keys, we're trying to choose one of them to uniquely identify all the rows in a table. So in that case, you can using the student's number or student's SSN. As long as you choose one of them, you can consider this is a primary key. Okay, so if we say, some people will ask, what's the difference between the primary key or super key? Okay, so primary key, they have to be candidate key. That means it's minimal super key, but super key is something they probably contain unnecessary attributes. So we need to make sure primary key is super key. At the same time, there's no unnecessary attributes, which is candidate key, right? So foreign key. So foreign key is the primary key from one table that appear in another table to establish relationships between them. So for example, when you look at this two table, this is one table, this is another table. So we consider products code is primary key for this table, and we also has this table primary key is vendor code. This is a primary key. So when you're trying to link these two tables with, for example, products code, and you can tell which vendor would be for this product. Okay, so in that case, this vendor code in this table actually used as a primary key in another table. Okay, so I will emphasize again, vendor code is used as a primary key in another table. So this vendor code we consider is foreign key. Okay, so this vendor code is used in this table is primary key. At the same time, this code is used in another table, so we consider as foreign key in this table only. All right. So there are some of the key integrity constraints. So there are two types of the very important constraints. First, the entity integrity. So that is focused on primary key. So primary key have to be unique, cannot be none. Okay, cannot be empty. Okay, this is very important. You have to unique, cannot be empty. Okay, because this something can ensure each row has a unique identity. Okay, for example, all invoice must have a unique non-null invoice number. So referential integrity. So that means it's focused on the foreign key. So foreign key in that table can be none. So that means can be empty, but have to match the primary key in their when they use as a primary key in another table. Okay, I will give you some example. So first example is for entity integrity. So try look at this table to tell me, does this table maintain entity integrity? Okay, you can pause the video. I will give you guys think about whether this is right or not. Okay, so you can pause. Right after few seconds or minutes, you guys probably have the answer. So the right answer is no. They do not maintain the entity integrity. So when we review this one, the entity integrity is focused on the primary key. Okay, they have to be unique, cannot be none. So right here, if you choose the primary key as employee ID, however, this two is where identity, there's no duplicate, but none tell you this is cannot use as primary key. Okay, if you want to choose, you want to change, you have to make this one has a number, exactly number, and it cannot be 101 or 102. This is another example. So this example we're trying to say, can you tell whether this employee table maintain referential integrity with department table? You can pause the video, then think about it. I will give you an answer later. All right. So the answer is no. Okay. So back to the requirements. Foreign key must be known or match primary key in their related table. Okay. So first, we consider this is primary key. This is very unique. is for department key, and the employee table, the employee ID is a primary key. However, in this table, we do have department ID right here. So department ID is the same as department table's primary key. That means department ID is the foreign key in this table, right? So what's the requirement? Requirements, that means they can be none and have to match with related table. So department ID's related table should be department table. So you're trying to match them. So 101, yes, this one is matched. Okay, so that means Alice work for the department's HR. Then 103 is we talk about which department of the Bob. So Bob, he is not in the 101 and 102. We couldn't find this 103 in the department table. That means they violate the referential integrity. Okay, how we change it? There are several ways you can change it. You can pause for a second. I will give you the answers. So first one, you can do. We can easily to change the department ID right here using 1, 2, right? Or we can just choose this one. Since there's none of them, you just choose none. Okay, it's still right. Okay, or another table you can change is right here. You add 103, then put department name. All right, maybe department biology. Okay, so this is for week 2. Make sure you finish everything on a week 2 with sign in the campus. Thank you.